Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Not only in history books, but the generals and soldiers of the American Civil War come alive on screen in Gettysburg, 1993. This video reconstructs over 20 real faces alongside the actors, combining restored and digitally colored historical portraits as if the past meets the present. Each image stands as a vivid memory where fact and legend unite, keeping Gettysburg an immortal epic. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Robert E. Lee, 1807 to 1870, the brilliant general of the Confederate South during the American Civil War, was a man full of contradictions. Once an officer of the Federal Army, he chose to fight for his native Virginia, leading the Southern Army with caution and courage that even earned the respect of his enemies. Yet, his legacy remains forever overshadowed by the flag of secession he served. In the film Gettysburg 1993, Martin Sheen portrayed this complexity with great skill. He did not depict Lee as a stone monument, but as a flesh and blood man, dignified, revered by his soldiers, yet haunted by deep regrets, and sometimes rigid. Sheen vividly captured the pride and fateful, at times mistaken decisions of the old general, especially in the disastrous battle. This portrayal made the historical figure more relatable and tragic than ever. James Longstreet, 1821 to 1904, Lee's right arm, was one of the most talented generals of the Confederate South. Famous for his stubborn resistance and solid defensive tactics, he was heavily criticized after the war for openly pointing out General Lee's mistakes at Gettysburg, as well as for supporting the Republican Party. In the film Gettysburg, Tom Berenger masterfully portrayed a somber, realistic, and tormented Longstreet. He embodied modern warfare, disagreeing with his superior, yet following orders loyally, reflecting the fate of a misunderstood general in history. Joshua Chamberlain, 1828 to 1914, was originally a professor before becoming a colonel of the Union Army. He is remembered in history for his heroic defense of the left flank at Little Round Top during the Battle of Gettysburg. His bayonet charge successfully repelled the Confederate forces. After the war, he served as governor of Maine. In the film Gettysburg, Jeff Daniels portrayed Chamberlain with authenticity and emotion. He vividly depicted an intellectual who became a brave commander, caring for his soldiers and making wise decisions in moments of life and death, making the character unforgettable. John Buford, 1826 to 1863, was a cavalry general of the Union Army. He played a crucial role in the Battle of Gettysburg. With his keen perception, he recognized the value of the high ground and decided to hold off the Confederate forces while waiting for reinforcements. This gave the Union a decisive advantage. In the film Gettysburg, Sam Elliott delivered an impressive performance as Buford. He captured the tough, calm, and resolute presence of the cavalry general. The scene where he makes his pivotal decision was portrayed with authenticity and strength, allowing audiences to feel the importance of his role. George Pickett, 1825 to 1875, was a major general of the Confederate Army. He is forever remembered for the disastrous assault that bears his name at the Battle of Gettysburg. This bold charge ended in devastating failure, causing massive casualties among his men. The event haunted Pickett for the rest of his life. In the film Gettysburg, Stephen Lang delivered a striking portrayal of Pickett. He depicted a young general full of passion, pride, and charm. Yet audiences also witnessed his anguish and collapse as he watched the assault fail, closely reflecting his historical image. Winfield Scott Hancock, 1824 to 1886, was a major general of the Union Army, known as Hancock the Superb. He is most famous for his crucial command role in the Battle of Gettysburg, where he organized the defense and repelled General Pickett's assault, contributing decisively to the Union victory. In the film Gettysburg, Brian Min portrayed Hancock as polished, calm, and authoritative. His performance conveyed the confidence and steadfast leadership of the general in the heart of battle, closely matching historical accounts. Lewis A. Armistead, 1817 to 1863, was a brigadier general of the Confederate Army. He is best remembered for leading a charge during Pickett's assault at Gettysburg. Before the battle, he had a close friend on the opposing side, General Hancock. During the attack, Armistead was severely wounded and later died. In the film Gettysburg, Richard Jordan portrayed Armistead as deeply thoughtful and tormented. His performance highlighted the personal tragedy of fighting against an old friend. The scene of his mortal wounding was depicted with great emotion, leaving a lasting impression of a man bound by loyalty and friendship. Richard S. Ewell, 1817 to 1872, was a lieutenant general of the Confederate Army succeeding Stonewall Jackson. He was a brave commander, but at the Battle of Gettysburg, his hesitation to seize the high ground when the opportunity arose became one of the key reasons for the Confederate defeat. In the film Gettysburg, Tim Scott portrayed Ewell with clarity, highlighting this indecision. Through his performance, the character appeared torn by inner conflict and immense pressure in replacing a legend, emphasizing one of the most controversial decisions in history. George G. Meade, 1815 to 1872, was the general who commanded the entire Union Army at the Battle of Gettysburg. Although he had taken command only 3 days earlier, he skillfully arranged the defenses and repelled General Lee's assault, securing an important victory for the North. Yet his reputation was later overshadowed by criticism for not pursuing the Confederate Army more aggressively. In the film Gettysburg, Richard Anderson portrayed Meade as a cautious and somewhat reserved commander. His performance reflected Meade's true character in difficult circumstances, a talented leader under great pressure who was never fully recognized. J.E.B. Stuart, 1833 to 1864, was the famed cavalry commander of the Confederate Army, known for his daring style and effective reconnaissance missions. However, during the Battle of Gettysburg, his mysterious absence left General Lee without crucial intelligence, contributing to the Confederate defeat. In the film Gettysburg, Joseph Fuqua portrayed Stuart with clear emphasis on his shame and tension upon returning, only to be harshly reprimanded by General Lee. This performance highlighted one of the most controversial mistakes of the Civil War. Jubilee, early 1816 to 1894, was a major general of the Confederate Army known for his decisive and somewhat irritable personality. He fought at Gettysburg and later became a key figure in the Lost Cause movement, promoting the idealized view of the Confederacy. In the film Gettysburg, McIntyre Dixon vividly portrayed Early. He captured the general's fiery temper and skeptical attitude, often questioning his comrades. Though brief, the performance reflected a distinctive part of Early's historical character. Arthur Lyon Fremantle, 1835 to 1901, was a British Army officer. He traveled through the American battlefields and was present at Gettysburg as a neutral observer. His detailed notes, later published as 3 Months in the Southern States, became a valuable historical source on the Civil War. In the film Gettysburg, James Lancaster portrayed Fremantle as a refined and curious English gentleman. His performance vividly reflected the perspective of an outsider on the conflict, highlighting both the strangeness and the tragedy of the American Civil War. Walter H. Taylor, 1838 to 1916, was the loyal aide and a major serving under General Robert E. Lee throughout the Civil War. At the age of 24, he managed administrative duties and acted as Lee's secretary, playing a key role in relaying orders at Gettysburg. His later memoirs became an invaluable historical source. In the film Gettysburg, Bo Brinkman portrayed Taylor as a young, dedicated officer, constantly at Lee's side. Though given few lines, his performance conveyed reliability and efficiency, reflecting the silent yet essential role of this historical figure. Henry Haight, 1825 to 1899, was a major general of the Confederate Army. He inadvertently sparked the Battle of Gettysburg when he sent his men into town in search of shoes, leading to a major clash with Union forces. He was wounded on the first day of the battle. After the war, Haight worked in the insurance business. In the film Gettysburg, Warren Burton portrayed Haight as a decisive general. The scene where he ordered an attack despite lacking full knowledge of the situation highlighted his role in triggering the fateful opening of the battle, though the character appeared only briefly. Tom Chamberlain, 1841 to 1896, was the younger brother of Colonel Joshua Chamberlain. He served in the 20th Maine Regiment as a lieutenant at Gettysburg. He fought alongside his brother on Little Round Top, where the regiment earned its famous glory. Tom survived the war and later became a businessman. In the film Gettysburg, c. Thomas Howell portrayed Tom Chamberlain as a young, enthusiastic officer deeply attached to his older brother. His performance highlighted the human side and family bonds amid the harshness of war. Richard B. Garnett, 1817 to 1863, was a brigadier general of the Confederate Army. He had been injured in the leg before Gettysburg, which prevented him from riding a horse. During Pickett's charge, he led his brigade on foot under heavy fire. He was killed on the battlefield, and his body was never recovered. In the film Gettysburg, Andrew Prine portrayed Garnett with a somber presence, burdened by his injury. His performance conveyed the determination to fight for honor, turning the character into a tragic symbol within the greater catastrophe. James L. Kemper, 1823 to 1895, was a brigadier general of the Confederate Army. During Pickett's charge at Gettysburg, he was the lowest-ranking general and was gravely wounded, nearly killed, and taken prisoner. After the war, he returned and served as the 37th governor of Virginia. In the film Gettysburg, Roy Applegate portrayed Keir as a passionate general, bravely leading his men under heavy fire. The scene of his wounding on the battlefield vividly conveyed the brutality and tragedy of the battle, leaving a lasting impression on audiences. Isaac R. Trimble, 1802 to 1888, was a major general of the Confederate Army. At 61, he was one of the oldest generals at Gettysburg. During Pickett's charge, he fervently led his men forward until he was gravely wounded and captured. He lost a leg to amputation and was not exchanged until nearly 2 years later. In the film Gettysburg, Morgan Shepherd gave a powerful performance as Treble. He portrayed an aging yet spirited man with unyielding determination. The scene where he shouted, "I want you to see a general die," when wounded vividly captured his indomitable fighting spirit. Henry Thomas Harrison, 1832 to 1923, was an intelligence agent, a spy for the Confederate Army. Trusted by General Longstreet, Harrison provided crucial information about the approaching Union forces, which forced General Lee to hastily concentrate his troops at Gettysburg. After the war, he lived a mysterious and reclusive life. In the film Gettysburg, Cooper Huckay portrayed Harrison authentically. He captured the image of a seasoned spy, plainly dressed, weathered, yet shrewd and familiar with the terrain. This portrayal fit perfectly with the description of a man working in the shadows, playing a key role in setting the stage for the battle. John F. Reynolds, 1820 to 1863, was a talented major general of the Union Army. On the first day of the Battle of Gettysburg, while commanding at the front lines, he was struck by a sniper's bullet and killed instantly. His sudden death was a major loss for the North. Earlier, President Lincoln had offered him command of the entire army, but Reynolds declined. In the film Gettysburg, John Rothman portrayed Reynolds in a brief appearance. The scene of him riding into battle and being killed was depicted with realism. His performance conveyed the polished, decisive presence of a general, fitting the image of a respected commander in history. Strong Vincent, 1837 to 1863, was a young colonel of the Union Army. At 26, he made a crucial decision, moving his men to occupy Little Round Top before the Confederates arrived. In the fierce battle to hold the hill, he was mortally wounded and died 5 days later. In the film Gettysburg, Maxwell Field portrayed Vincent as a passionate and resolute young officer. The scene where he inspired his men with the words, "Don't give an inch," was striking. His performance captured the courage and quiet sacrifice of a young commander. John Bell Hood, 1831 to 1879, was a young and aggressive major general of the Confederate Army. At Gettysburg, he commanded a division and was severely wounded in the arm, which had to be amputated, ending his combat role. He was known for his fierce attacks, but later suffered setbacks when leading larger commands. In the film Gettysburg, Patrick McCarthy portrayed Hood as an energetic and determined young general, clearly expressing frustration at being ordered to attack difficult terrain he considered unfavorable. This depiction matched his decisive and combative character noted in history. J. Johnston Pettigrew, 1828 to 1863, was a talented and educated brigadier general of the Confederate Army. He commanded one of the main brigades in Pickett's charge at Gettysburg, where his men suffered extremely heavy losses. Pettigrew survived the battle but was mortally wounded a few weeks later during the retreat. In the film Gettysburg, George Lazenby portrayed Pettigrew as a refined and thoughtful general, aware of the looming tragedy. Though his appearance was brief, the character reflected the qualities of a learned soldier and the courage to lead his men under heavy fire. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to share it with your friends and hit subscribe so you won't miss our next exciting content.